FIFAe, eFootball last year, Saudi Arabia winning it all in the Rocket League. Ruas, TRK and Killers, complete heroes here. So if we have these KSA eFootball players achieving anything similar, it would be massive for the nation. A nation that loves its esports as well.
They do. And I think, I just love the Saudi fans. It's my first time in Saudi and everyone's so lovely. The country's beautiful and I'm having a great time so far.
I'm so glad to hear that, yeah. I've been here 6 or 7 times now, I think, since 2022. Every time I'm here, I love it. Every time I'm here, it's developed further. There's more to it. Buildings now exist. The esports boulevard is even more advanced. So, yeah, KSA need to keep doing what they're doing here in this group. 2 minutes left. Surely they'll be able to hold this one out.
I really want them to hold this out. I mean, Chile as the new nation, you've got to give it to them. They're doing really well, but we do have 4 in-game minutes left. And as we know in football, anything can change and anything can happen in 4 minutes.
Yeah, Chile currently on 4 points, unbeaten. This would be their first loss, unless they have the ball on the left wing. There are passes into the centre. He goes high. Maybe should have kept that one low. And Saudi Arabia can get that one frustratingly back into the corner. It's all or nothing now for Chile.
Can we talk about his heart rate being regularly in the 60s as well?
That's pretty incredible. And a pretty incredible result as well. Cold as ice there, the Saudi players, as they take their first victory in the tournament, which will put them onto 7 points as well. Massive.
That's a big 7 points. I mean, 4 teams from each group go through into the knockouts, and all you need is to finish 4th in your group just to give you a fighting chance to get to that final place. But that is a huge win for Saudi Arabia. Their first win of the day, and hopefully they can keep this momentum going.
Yeah, tough for Chile right there. They'll have to G themselves back up and remind themselves they've got some big wins so far in this tournament. It's not the matchup they would have wanted. But Saudi Arabia, tight victory. To be honest though, at the end, Chile looked like they couldn't break through, and Milos is going to ask all about that game with Saudi Arabia.
Yes, we will. A victory for Saudi Arabia after 2 draws. I'm here with GOAT Iniesta himself. Iniesta, مبروك الفوز لكم هلا، بس أول ماتشين تعادل، هلا فوز. كيف حاسس حالك من بعده؟
والله شعور ما يوصف. الله يبارك فيك أول شيء. بإذن الله نقدم مباراتين كويسة، نختم اليوم بأفضل ختام. إن شاء الله نتأهل.
Of course, how is it? The question is more about how is it like to win this 3rd matchup after 2 draws. But you know what? That's what happened the first 2 games. We're just proud and happy that we're able to collect those 3 points in the victory in Game 3 and then move on from this point onwards. And speaking of which, I'd like to ask you about حتلعب البرازيل من بعد هالماتش هيدا. كيف متوقع هالجيم تكون لأنه البرازيل منهم فريق خفيف أبدا؟
راح تكون مباراة قوية، بالذات إن عندهم لاعبين كلهم محترفين وعندهم مهارات متمكنين منها يعني. إن شاء الله نقدم مستوى كويس ونفوز عليهم.
It's not going to be an easy game against Brazil regardless, but we're going to give it our all. They're great players, have a lot of pedigree and great gameplay, but I'm sure we can pull something off on it. Thank you very much, Iniesta, Mabruk. Thank you very much. We're going to send it back to our studio for more eFootball action.
Thanks, Milos. Yeah, I mean, every single game is tough. We have the 12 best nations on the planet competing here, don't we, in the FIFA World Cup finals in terms of the console side of things. And we get to see the 12 best mobile later on this afternoon. These are your AXE highlights then from our featured matchup, Indonesia and Japan. It maybe wasn't as exciting as we expected. You hope for them to go all out. A few more goals there, Chris, and it was a bit, you know, a bit of a stalemate at the beginning, especially.
KG again. I think that's kind of what we said in the first few games. But at the same time, I think an important win for Indonesia to try and get things going here. Japan, for them, it's not the end of the world, but it's starting to get a little bit tense now for them. But again, every single game is difficult at this stage. But for them to manage to find that win, big one for them to get a hold of there for Indonesia. But again, KG affair.
Yeah, I mean, standout from those matches, I would say, was Brazil. In terms of what we just saw.
Yeah.
4-0 over Thailand there.
Massive.
I mean, that's a statement.
Yeah, showing up and showing out is exactly what Brazil are known for, and they've now started to really kick into gear. Just a very impressive performance against what has been a very tough Thailand side.
And then Group B, Poland. We haven't spoken about them that much so far this tournament. They haven't featured in any of our featured matchups. But going a little bit under the radar, but a great victory there in Morocco.
Yeah, I mean, we've been seeing the results coming in, goals every now and then. They've scored some absolute corkers as well. But 3-0 win over Morocco, going quite nicely in their group. I don't even know where I would kind of put them at this stage. It's like, if you're explaining they're doing well, are they a dark horse anymore? You know, they're performing well in the group. You kind of put them in that realm of, okay, they want to get through to the knockout stages, but where do they go from there? That's going to be the real question around Poland.
Well, they're in the knockout, I guess, positioning to go through at the moment. They're sitting in 4th alongside Japan. They're the same, equal on points, 4 apiece, with a win, a draw and a loss. So we're kind of saying Japan maybe need to start picking up momentum, and maybe Poland do as well.
Yeah, and I think the less that we talk about Poland, it's probably better for them. I think in terms of knowing the two lads who are representing Poland, they'll be very happy to kind of be under the radar and not really spoken about in the same realms. But certainly for Japan, the expectation is they're looking to get through to the knockouts, but you could just see Poland just creeping up in the shadows almost.
But Poland will hope to do that because they couldn't quite get over the mark last year. They struggled again in the earlier group stages, didn't they?
Yeah, but I think what we've seen from their performances so far, okay, yeah, they may not be sitting necessarily at a high level, but they're going away quite solid. We know that the competition has kind of risen this year. It's a different format in the sense of the draft coming through. Is that going to benefit them? At this moment in time, I think they're looking pretty solid. They'd be looking to get through the groups.
Mexico is our next featured matchup, but at the moment they're sitting pretty at the top of their group. You think that's an expected performance so far?
I really do. In terms of Mexico's setup, in terms of their team, and in terms of the two players on the sticks, for me, they are one of those front runners. When you talk about tournament favourites and you talk about teams that came in with expectations, I think Mexico are surpassing their own because it's their debut at the tournament, and people were not quite sure as to how they were going to travel, given the fact, Mexico, in terms of the distance to travel, but they've travelled very, very well.
In terms of their experience and their debut, that doesn't always match up. When people go, oh, they've got so much experience, but why are they just competing here? Why is that, Wes?
Well, in terms of their qualification, I mean, that they had I would say, brutal qualification. We talked about Asia in terms of their qualification. The Americas, it is fierce. I mean, you look at the likes of Argentina that aren't here, Peru aren't here. The fact that it's Mexico and it's Brazil and it just brings out, and it just shows how tough it was for them to get through. But they put their best foot forward in qualifying as well. They were very good coming through that region, and they've just carried on that form.
Any teams that you think haven't really lived up to performances at the moment? I can read out the bottom 2 from each, if that helps you. In terms of Group A, sitting in 5th and 6th, you've got Turkey and Thailand.
Thailand's the one.
And in B, Jordan and Morocco. Two big nations, Morocco and maybe Thailand.
I think in the sense of Jordan and Morocco, that's not too much of a surprise, but I think for Thailand especially at this stage, like, okay, again, we talk about its group stages, you warm into it, but it's the manner of that. I mean, they got hammered off Brazil there. That's not just like, okay, a tight game up against one of the tournament favorites, fair enough, whatever. 4-0 is pretty substantial. So whatever Thailand are doing, they need to stop it and start stemming it up pretty quickly. Yeah,
the one other team that we haven't mentioned there, Turkey, who were last tournament's semi-finalists. They got knocked out by Indonesia in what was a classic in that semi-final last year. But at the moment, they had that surprise loss to Chile, and now all of a sudden it kind of looks like, okay, they might be in some trouble here.
The reason I was just going through those now is because the players you might be able to see behind me, they've all left the arena. They get a 10-minute break now before they go into match number 4 and 5, the final 2 matches they get to play in their kind of day 1 round of fixtures. But we're just going to jump back actually to our featured matchup and check out those heart rates once again, because they do spike and they do peak and they do trough, and we're going to see from Binon Boys, how cool was he?
Cool enough.
Almost stoic at one point, in the sense of how calm that Binon Boys was, and it seemed that way. Even when they score, they don't really get too up and out of their chairs. Instead, it's very much like business as usual. We go again. It's that almost that very much British, it's 0-0, we go again. It certainly feels like that. And the same looking at Elgas, it doesn't really move that much. It just kind of stays pretty level across the board. And they seemingly have got that confidence, even in what was a tight game against Japan.
We saw that last year, though, when they won in the final. There's not much emotion.
No. And I wonder if that does come from the experience or expectation, or just maybe, I want to say, the belief in your own ability to not be having to get nervous, because you're like, no, we know we're the best in the world. We are the tournament favorites here, and no stress is going to really come upon them. Not yet. I would like to think, you know, this year I'm expecting a little bit more competition up against them. So I want to see, I would love to see if we could compare them to last year. I don't believe we'll have that data, to be fair. I mean, I'm asking production for a lot, but I'd be really curious to see what the comparison will be like.
They've got Mexico and Poland as well. Two exciting fixtures for Indonesia coming your way in a few moments' time. But for now, we're going to park the bus here after 3 matches, have a short break, come back and join us for 2 more matchups, with the feature one being Indonesia taking on Mexico. We'll see you in a few.
How can real-time visibility across our hydrocarbon supply chain
help keep our shelves stocked?
How can achieving a 99.8% delivery record
Help bring us together?
By continually asking how, we provide reliable access to energy for everyone we serve.
Another day asking how.
Another day serving my customers.
Extra, extra! Read all about it. World Cup prep begins.
Hold on to your hats, folks. Training for World Cup in North America has begun. And you would not believe what these guys are up to.
White 17! White 17! Hot!
Preparations spiral out of control across the globe as the hunt for World Cup glory intensifies. Buckle up, folks. We're just getting started.
What was that?
Smells finer than the finest perfumes. New Axe Fine Fragrance.
The digital world speaks the language of zeros and ones. And now, with advanced digital systems, countless new numbers join the field. A 7 can break the pattern. A 9 can be the game changer. At Globant, cutting-edge technologies are at the core of everything we do, driving new and innovative solutions to shape the future of FIFA and companies across every industry. We are the official tournament sponsor of the FIFA Finals 2025. Globant, technology that dares to delight.
Reach your impossible with the AI-powered Legion Pro 7i, Lenovo Legion.
الابتكار والتطور للجميع، مش بس للمغامرين.
تصميم الكيا K4 وهيكلها الرياضي أول شيء يلفت انتباهك.
تصميم مرة حلو، بس بالنسبة لي أنا التكنولوجيا تفرض نفسها.
Kia, movement that inspires.
Slim like a whisper, sharp in the hand, and every non-plan. Every move got his game, smooth like ice, cold like flame. What's your edge?
Hello, Mot.
It's no competition. It's just on with the vision. We giving incisions. We feeling amazing. It ain't never gonna stop when we take to the top. We feeling amazing, feeling amazing, feeling amazing. Now back to the basics. We just keep it in moving, ain't leaving no traces. Now look at their faces. Ain't no stopping us now, we controlling with aces. Now tie up your laces. Ain't no tripping, we living this, giving to chase this. Now turn up the faces. We keep living this grizzly, we got it to face this. Feeling amazing. Take to the top and we never gon' stop it. Feeling amazing. Take to the top and we making a profit. Feeling amazing. We just living our life and we keep it above. Feeling amazing. We ain't never gon' stop and we living it up. I'm going through changes, living so dangerous. They saying he famous. I keep telling myself I'm the best with the aim. It's saying it's criminal, they do the minimal. I'm just a general, keep it subliminal. Break them the minerals, keeping it cynical. Keeping it moving in the speed of pinnacle. Feeling amazing. Take to the top and we never gon' stop it. Feeling amazing. Take to the top and we making a profit. Feeling amazing. We just living our life and we keep it above. Feeling amazing. We ain't never gon' stop and we living it up. Feeling amazing, raising the temperature, counting your days. 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 Feeling amazing, take to the top and we never gon' stop it. Feeling amazing, take to the top and we making a profit. Feeling amazing, we just living our life and we keep it above. Feeling amazing, we ain't never gon' stop and we living it up. Put your money where your mouth is. I got change, I could do it like a house bid. Now let's bang. Put your money where your mouth is. I got change, I could do it like a house bid. Now let's bang. Put your money where your mouth is. I got change, I could do it like a house bid. Now let's bang. Put your money where your mouth is. I got change, I could do it like a house bid. Now let's bang. Hey yo, ain't no competition, dog, we the livest. Never gonna fade us, in the end we survive this. Trials, tribulations, but it only make us stronger. Never gonna stop and bring the heaters like a sauna. Gotta take it to the highest heights, deeper depths. Gotta move it right to left, but we always move in step. Gotta be the champions, dog, never losing. Get it, I got it, deliver to go. Never gonna stop it, I take it a blow. What I get to it, they never can know. What I get to it, I'm back at it though. My time like a python, I'm an icon, I got this. Never gonna stop and we take it to the top. Put your money where your mouth is. I got change, I could do it like a house bid. Now let's bang. Put your money where your mouth is. I got change, I could do it like a house bid. Now let's bang. Put your money where your mouth is. I got change, I could do it like a house bid. Now let's bang. Put your money where your mouth is. I got change, I could do it like a house bid. Now let's bang. I got change. Now let's bang. I got change. Now let's bang. Winter time is like summertime. We gon' ride tonight. We gon' feel alright. Put your money where your mouth is. I got change, I could do it like a house bid. Now let's bang. Put your money where your mouth is. I got change, I could do it like a house bid. Now let's bang. Put your money where your mouth is. I got change, I could do it like a house bid. Now let's bang. Put your money where your mouth is. I got change, I could do it like a house bid. Now let's bang.
You got me good, I'm losing my mind now, my mind now. You got me hooked, I'm losing my mind now, my mind now.
Well, welcome back to the FIFAe World Cup Finals 2025, where this week all eyes are focused on eFootball. And at the moment, you are watching the console tournament. Earlier on, we have seen the first 3 matches from the day in terms of Group A and B. We have 2 more matches to bring you, and that will complete 5 matches from day 1 here at the FIFAe Finals. And it's a big one coming up next in Group B. Our focus is on Indonesia taking on Mexico, currently first and second in the standings there. All eyes will be on these 2 nations to see who will possibly pull ahead or who will be lagging behind at the end of the in-game 90 minutes. Well, they're raising their eyebrows. They're looking pretty confident. Indonesia on the back of a really big victory as well. A short while ago, they took on Japan. They got the victory. It was a narrow margin, 1-0 in the end. A great result all the same. In the studio, we have Christian and Cole joining me to chat all about these next 2 fixtures, and in particular our feature one, Indonesia and Mexico. Boys, Indonesia at the moment, with the momentum, are we saying, Cole?
Yeah, especially pre-tournament, I think that Indonesia would have been big favourites here. But Mexico are on 7 points as well. You know, you can't deny the fact that Mexico have had some great performances up to this point.
I think the only thing I would say, and not to spend negative, that Mexico's fixtures have been favourable. I want to say they won both their games against 2 of the teams who are now sitting bottom of their group. This is their toughest test by far. So, yes, okay, we've seen them do what they've needed to do and what they've been expected to in their games that they had previously. Now is the real big test going up against the current champions.
But a team like Mexico, they're the only team in recent years to beat the likes of Brazil, who have been so dominant. They mean business, don't they?
Well, they absolutely do, yeah, but at the same time, you need to show and prove it. I've been enjoying what I'm seeing from Mexico, but I'm playing devil's advocate in the sense that we haven't seen them go up against top competition today. However, they're still just doing whatever they need to do. Indonesia have started to step it up. Massive, massive test.
Well, it's defending champions, Indonesia, taking on our debutants in the form of Mexico. Let's learn a little bit more about this duo now.
I feel very excited. I never played here in the Safe Arena, so it's very unique experience, especially playing with a friend, so I'm very excited for it.
Pues es como el máximo nivel que uno puede encontrar en esta competición que es eFootball. Es una sensación increíble poder conocer a otras personas que son igual de buenas que tú o quizá mejores que tú, y es una sensación fantástica poder competir contra ellos.
I've been playing this game since I was like 5 years old. I'm feeling really happy to represent my country and also my esports team, my Chivas Esports.
Que vean el torneo, que van a quedar sorprendidos.
Well, that's teed us up absolutely perfectly. The 2 titans at the top of Group B will now be butting heads. Whereas both nations starting out very nicely indeed. 6 points from their wins and just a point from their draws. 7 points total. They're locking horns now. It's a pleasure to be back with you, my friend.
Yeah, it's nice to be back in the natural habitat of the commentary box. But yeah, this is box office. It has everything written over it. This is very much the sleeper hit of the day. Every commentary analogy you can think of, this is this game entirely.
And we are underway. Indonesia, last year's triumphant champions, up against Mexico, this year's sleeper hit. It is going to be Elga and Binong boys up against Andrei Pumas and Arsenal style. And for Indonesia, they started things off quite slowly in the tournament so far, but they're starting this game off nicely indeed. The first goal in just 3 minutes, and it's Indonesia striking first.
Yeah, it was, again, really well built up, moving the ball across the box, found it towards Christian Vieri in the box, off of the save, tucks it away, 1-0.
Well, I said they started the tournament as a whole off very, very slowly indeed. They went 2-0 down against Jordan in their first game, clawed it back to 2-2, then went on to secure wins against both Morocco and Japan. And they've started that game off in an ideal fashion. 3 minutes and 1-0. We'll hop over to see what's going on between Chile and Italy. Both of these two would love an extra 3 points to their tally so far.
Yeah, I mean, Italy, they're going to have to try and recover quickly from that disappointing defeat to Brazil. They're up against Chile, who have their own surprise victory against Turkey under their belt. So, again, as Chris Ronley pointed out on the sofas, there isn't an easy game here at the FIFAe World Cup.
They seem to have flattered to deceive a little bit so far, Italy, but they're on the charge here with Eterito crossing in towards Naples, who heads it on, but, well, they're going to have to try and steady themselves here again. Chile have been slowly but surely going about their business here, haven't they? The South American side's very tough to beat in the group stages.
Yeah, they certainly were. They came through a very tough qualifying phase as we cut back to Indonesia versus Mexico. Our featured game is a corner to Mexico, ball delivered into the box, header just over the bar.
I think that was the Arsenal style. Had that chance just then following the corner. Just 4 minutes after that goal went in by the 2024 champions. And it's worrying, I think, for the rest of the competition, isn't it? Whereas when you see Indonesia, they start off, they go 2-0 down to Jordan, and you think, OK, maybe someone else might have a chance this year. Since then, they've been rampant, and they're coming forward again as Benong Boys heads it. It was Elgar in the end with a chance, but straight into the grateful hands of the goalkeeper.
Yeah, what is it about when teams are winning ugly and they start to churn out results? There's an opportunity here, though, for Mexico to try and get the ball through, but it's cleared away on the edge of the 18-yard box and over halfway. But Mexico have it back in the centre circle. I moved on to this near side, but the pass is cut out. They do have possession still, do Mexico. There's neat footwork and a passing field, but again, it's resilient defensive work by Indonesia.
Yeah, and around the grounds here, of course, we're keeping an eye on all 6 matches happening, and that's Eterito scoring for Italy, breaking the deadlock over there. And a nice old ball roll, followed by the strike from Elgar. Benong Boys, risky fight and can try and play it back to his teammate, but Mexico living very dangerously here. Something tells me this might just be the most end-to-end game that we'll see from the group stages.
And it certainly will. It's certainly attack versus attack more than attack versus defence between these two teams, but neat little move on the edge of the box there by Indonesia. Super cancel, and they managed to get themselves a shot off with that little dummy that goes in there. Really bought themselves some space as Mexico have the ball on the near side touchline, but it goes out of play for an Indonesia throw.
They're champions of last year, despite finishing second in Group A, if you cast your mind back. So it's Indonesia, they've been in situations before where they know the group stages isn't where the money is made in this type of international tournament. They're happy to start slow, survive some of the early scares. And now, here come Indonesia, dispossessed smartly though by Arsenal style, cleared up the pitch.
Yeah, as we cut to a replay here, it's Brazil versus Saudi Arabia. As Brazil look to move forward, it was Neymar into Hullet, and that's tucked away. Brazil have themselves a goal lead against the hosts.
Yeah, the host nation under the cosh. João Victor with the finish in that match. And now Indonesia, they're chasing their second into the box here. Elgar, though, dispossessed. Once again, Arsenal style of Mexico being called into defensive duties. And we're about 15 minutes, give or take a few minutes for stoppages away from half-time here. We've seen some signs of life from Mexico, but the Central American side have been much the second best side between the two here in the first half.
Yeah, they've struggled to get their attack going, have Mexico, as we get a replay here. It's a set piece for Poland versus Jordan, and they They get very lucky. They try and get it under the wall. Instead, they get the ricochet and took it away for 1-0 as we join back the action with Indonesia, who have it right in this near side corner. Another ball to the edge of the box. They played it into the box. There's an opportunity here for Indonesia. Can they develop it, though? They're shielding the ball well. Striker goal can save. Captain in the back post!
That is what they do best. We saw that time and time again last year. Right place, right time for the second ball. And it's Indonesia doubling their advantage. 2-0 at the top of Group B here. Right place, right time. The two so in sync.
That is why they are champions. They work a chance until they have the opportunity to gear it. And again, it's Christian Vieri used on that mopping up job that he had. We join here, Italy versus Chile, as they have their goal lead. They have their ball at the edge of the box. Neat ball roll into the box, and it's pulled and fired into the back of the net. Italy have a 2-goal lead.
That'll be a nice cushion for them. Naples scoring that one, so both the Italian representatives on the board in their match elsewhere. Our featured match has the 2024 champions well in control here, as Rizky Fidan has time and space to pick out his man. Five minutes until half-time. Will we see another chance for Mexico in this first half? Played inside now to Andre Pumas, who pokes it on to his countryman. Some hold-up play on the horizon, maybe. That one straight into the red-shirted Garuda and cleared. Still chance maybe for one of these nations to have another pop at the opposition's goal here in the first half, Wes.
Yeah, and Indonesia have a way through. It's a through ball in one-on-one. It's squared across the box.
Oh, I don't think they scored it.
They haven't. It's been cleared away by Mexico. Such was the quickness of production to get us back the pictures. It fell apart, but Mexico have it up the other end. There's an opportunity here. Tap. Oh, it's a back heel that gets blocked away by Indonesia. They have a corner.
Truly end-to-end stuff here. Don't think you can blame production thinking that Indonesia were going to continue their scoring form. But now Mexico have a corner late on here. And I can tell you there have been goals elsewhere. But for now, we'll take a look at the final action here at the first half. And it will go into half-time. Indonesia 2, Mexico 0. And these two cannot really afford to give anyway more chances. But, well, we join the action right as the land of the rising sun score.
Yeah, so again, we cut right into the action and we cut right into a goal for Japan. As I'm looking at the corner, there's so many other ones going in, which I'm sure we'll get to, but we'll see this one here. It's a beautiful ball down the left-hand side. First time pass into Ruud Gullit on the penalty spot, tucks it away, and Japan have their lead.
As cool as you like, we've just been waiting, haven't we, for Japan to really come alive in this tournament. Late on here in the first half, that stoppage time, it was 1-1 between Brazil and Saudi Arabia, our host nation. Brazil have reinstated their 1-goal advantage there with the goal we just saw through that replay.
Yeah, it followed an equaliser from Saudi Arabia that we didn't see. Such was the ferocity of Jay Victor's celebrations. The ball is back with us here with Japan versus Morocco. It's cleared away by Japan on the edge of the box, but Morocco have it back, momentarily cleared away though. And Japan look to build up once more in the centre of the park as they move around to the far side, and over halfway it is now as Japan look to build up brilliantly. It's a neat through ball. It's a brilliant strike, but it's saved by the goalkeeper.
Let me tell you, this is worrying for the rest of the competition, because if Axe and Tess have found their groove, the two DRX members, of course, they're going to be very, very difficult to beat here Morocco have been having an absolutely torrid time of things so far in the group stages. And they find themselves 1-0 down here with a corner to Japan to defend. Back to our featured match though. 10 minutes have passed here in the second half. Indonesia still 2 up against Mexico.
Yeah, Mexico still yet to really register an attack of real danger as the long throw goes into Jan Koller. He's headed it down. It's Ronaldo! And it's into the hands of the goalkeeper by way of deflection, but it's the first real opportunity that Mexico have had. But it's utilising that physicality that Jan Koller gives you to try and free up those other attacking weapons that they have. They can't find the back of the net on that occasion.
Yeah, we did wonder how much of a focal point Jan Koller would be for many of these attacks. We expected the meta, if you will, to be cross it into the big man, but haven't seen too much of that so far. A lot of that down to, of course, the Phase 2 players, and in some instances, the Phase 1 players. The key players chosen within the draft. You want those tall defenders. A lot of Virgil van Dijk's chosen in Phase 1.
Yeah, a lot of Dan Burn picked for Chris Dunn back on the sofa as well. But again, it's height disparity, it's physicality, it's everything you want from eFootball as Mexico look to try and find a ball into the centre. But again, it cleared away by Indonesia. And that's what really what they were known for last year, Harry, was being resolute in defence, but being clinical up front.
Yeah, not afraid ever to take a risk. Go for that early strike, chase that second ball. That's how they were able to score the first goal of our featured match here. Just 20 minutes remaining as Mexico are staring down their first defeat of this year's tournament. Of course, did not compete in last year's FIFA E World Cup finals featuring eFootball console. Over here, our host nation, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, giving a good game to Brazil. We saw João Victor scoring that go-ahead goal. But Saudi Arabia have been very, very difficult to deal with for a lot of our nations in the group stages.
Yeah, I had a quick chat with them yesterday. They were very happy with their draft as we've cut across here to Poland versus Jordan. Poland having a 2-1 lead from right to left on your screen. It's Zilo with the ball in the centre of the park now. It's flicked on from Hullet, but it's cleared away at the edge of Jordan's box as we flick back to, or over to, Italy versus Chile. Italy still with a 2-goal lead here. There's a flick to the ball off the back post, and it made 3-0 by the way of Ruud Hullet. As we're back with Poland v Jordan.
Listen, you combine Eterito with Ruud Hullet, and the result is goals. There's no other way out of that equation. Poland 2, Jordan 1. We can hop over back to our featured match, Indonesia and Mexico. Still vying for supremacy here. Mexico need some action to go their way here soon, and well, they've tried to chase that header back, but never getting there.
And interestingly, you can see top left-hand corner, the substitutes that have come on. Koller, Ronaldo both off, Thuram, Van Basten on. Certainly a change in shape or in terms of their prowess of what they're going to go for. They're going to look trying to tackle the ground, but they've got to keep it close to the back post, and it's into the back of the net. Indonesia make it 3-0. It's Cody Gakpo.
Oh, risky find out, as cool as you like. Finishing that one with aplomb.
It's another day at work for him, looking at his reactions. Just another day.
Just smiling, playing with a smile on his face. We love to see it. Indonesia look very, very well drilled. Last year's champion. Coming for the back-to-back, and here is that Cody Gakpo goal. We saw the Super Council, you know, just taking his time. Knew he had all the time in the world. And I tell you, two nations that are struggling here in the group stages. It's Turkey and Thailand. And it's Turkey who have gone ahead.
That's a massive goal for them in terms of their aspirations, as we alluded to, both at the foot of their group at the moment. That's a massive goal for Turkey.
It's a huge goal for them. Indonesia are looking to try and run up the tally here. 3 goals to the good. 10 minutes remain. I think this one's probably a foregone conclusion. But there's been a big goal elsewhere. Stay tuned to find out which way it's gone as we await the Indonesia corner here. That one's wasted. Tried to play it short. But take a look at this, Wes. Saudi Arabia against Brazil. It's our host nation equalising 2-2 in that game.
I can see the math that Brazil have tried there. They've manual goalkeep to get their goalkeeper into position, but it does leave you exposed, especially when the ball gets knocked down by Saudi Arabia. And, you know, goals in Saudi Arabia and Cristiano Ronaldo, I think there's some type of puzzle there, Harry.
I see the connection. I'll tell you the connection that's been on point in this game. I'll tell you the connection that's been on point in this game. Been on boys and Elga. Picking up where they left off. Mexico, this will be their first blip in the group stages following tremendous performances, beating Morocco 3-1, drawing 2-2 with Poland, and then a massive result against Jordan. But Indonesia are just different gravy at the 2v2 game.
Yeah, once they get their feet set and once they get comfortable, they very much make themselves at home wherever they play on the eFootball planet.
It's just a formality at this point. Chance perhaps for a consolation for Mexico, but Indonesia with yet another 3 points. Their third win on the spin. Respect between the nations. But something tells me not for the last time I'm going to say this. Indonesia win again.
It's huge. It's a huge result. Given the fact they're both level on points coming into the fixture. Again, you talk about the intangibles, you talk about a psychological blow. Of course, you've got the reverse fixtures coming tomorrow. That's a big statement of intent from Indonesia. Mexico will be smarting after that one. And they have the added bonus that they've got to go again.
Yeah, they have to go again. It's been somewhat of a disappointing year for Rizky Fidan and Elga. Obviously, since this time last year, being champions, haven't seen too much from them. Elga qualifying for the World Finals, but losing in the quarterfinals. That's, of course, in the 1-versus-1 discipline. He's back where he is most comfortable. Well, let's go down to the stage and hear from one of my favourite players. Jasmine is with Rizky Fidan.
Congratulations are in order. Binong boys, I have to ask you though, this year, are you finding it more difficult than the previous year, considering the fact you guys were winners last year? What about coming into 2025? Is the competition easier, more difficult, or about the same?
Yeah, I think this year FIFA will be way difficult because, you know, as a title holder, of course, every single opponent will put their eyes on us. So, yeah, of course. I expect this FIFA would be much more difficult than the last year.
Well, you know what, considering the fact that you've got a big target on your back, I'm not going to keep you for much longer. Congratulations again, and I'm going to let you get warmed up for your next game.
Thanks so much. Great to hear from Rizky Fidan down there with veracity. The players are still playing heat number 4. We have some games to catch up on, one of which Japan, Morocco, and the Blue Samurai looking pretty comfortable so far in this game. Have 10 minutes to defend what is a slender 1-goal advantage.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult, but they've got a chance here. Pulled it towards the back post. It's escaped the clutches of it momentarily. It's got into the goalkeeper's hands. And Morocco, their blushes are spared as the ball is delivered long downfield. It's headed clear by the Japan defence, and it's now onto halfway and onto that far side for them to look and try and charge down their right-hand side. They don't play the ball cross-field in towards the 18-yard box. It's flicked back by Morocco and cleared away. The first time of asking. Morocco seemingly now just trying to find some form or fashion forward. They found a ball down the left-hand side. There's not a lot of support, but it's been made up for here. There's an opportunity for Morocco, but it's cleared away for a corner.
Some late pressure from Morocco. And it's a wasted corner in the end. Just fluffed their lines a little bit. You just have to ask, Wes, will they get another chance like that?
I don't think they'll get another opportunity. So knowing the way that the two Japan players play and how they play as a unit, they will just want to close this one out and get a victory on the board.
Well, here comes Tess, dispossessed there. And Morocco, as we've said, had a torrid tournament so far, losing 3-1 to both Mexico and Indonesia, and then 3-0 to Poland after that. And we're in the 90th minute, staring down the barrel of a fourth straight defeat. Japan have the ball. Here is Axe on that far side, just trying to kill some of that clock. Oh, he's beating his man as well. Maybe they can go for two here, Japan. It's Axe, he's trying to go all the way and cause Morocco problems. Dispossessed, and it's up the pitch here for Morocco. They might have one last chance, but Virgil is there. Japan, they'll clear, and the referee will award the 3 points.
Yeah, again, a valuable win for Japan in terms of other games going on. Of course, we've now just cut across the Saudi Arabia versus Brazil. Poland beat Jordan by 3-1. But the headline here, folks, the hosts are beating Brazil by 3-2.
Wow. Wow. That is a big shock. Brazil, one of the favourites coming into this. Another nation that had somewhat of a slow start with that 0-0 draw to South American rivals, Chile. And then big wins against Italy and Thailand, put them in prime position. But the hosts here, slowly going about their business. 2 draws and then a win in the previous heat against Chile. They're moments away from what would be a famous victory here.
It certainly would. I had a quick chat with Mendo, the coach in the white on your screen. And Saudi Arabia as a whole, both in mobile and in console, were very happy with the team that they had drafted. They understood what they had at their disposal, and they felt that they had everything that they needed coming into this draft. They understood just how important it was to get that draft under, get it where you need it to be. But to be 3-2 up against Brazil after, as you quite rightly mentioned, some of the results they've had and some of the performances they've had, this would be a huge victory.
We'll see how much time is left on the clock once we resume. I believe it's about 10 minutes. And, well, Saudi Arabia are down to 10 men. Patrick Vieira sent off for them. So Brazil, they'll be buoyed by that as João Victor. His shot is blocked. Corner to come.
Batten down the hatches, Saudi Arabia. You're in for a rough one here. It was Neymar just on the edge of the 6-yard box. It was deflected away for a corner. But when you're down to 10, now it's just everybody into the trenches. Get as many of these balls cleared out as possible. It doesn't matter how ugly it is. Just get it across the line.
Batten down the hatches will be the instruction. You'll see the Canary squad try and pour everything into this group stage match to get a result, get goals back. There's Henriquinho there, just dwelling on the ball. Good clearance by Figo.
As we know all too well with this game, is that the longer you keep this ball in, that clock will tick down in the top left-hand corner. So for Saudi Arabia, they don't want the ball dead. They just want it as far away from their goal as humanly possible.
They're doing everything they can to just maintain that territory. Look at the press. Now, the problem is you do cede a lot of space behind the pressers, and that space that Brazil can try and exploit, but Saudi Arabia have been imperious in this game. Now Brazil coming forward, it's Henriquinho. Can he find his teammate? Tackled in the end by Iniesta. 6 minutes added on. Wow, that's a big number.
Yeah, very rarely seen in eFootball, but be a result of all of the goals and that red card that we see. There's an opportunity.
Look at the press. Oh, it's a foul.
Oh, I'm not sure about that one, Harry. I'm not sure about that one. I've seen them give it, I've seen them not.
That's
Brazil will be very happy.
That is a let-off. The press from the Green Falcons has been As I said before, imperious. João Victor trying his trademark skills. Anywhere will do for Saudi Arabia. Just over a minute left in this game. Last chance to loom, surely. João Victor, is he just dwelling on the ball a little bit too much? It's cleared once again by Saudi Arabia. Last chance here, the ball has to go forward. Headed down, Enriquinho will just about get onto the end of this one. Can he find a Canary squad shirt? In the centre, no! Saudi Arabia with a famous group stage victory. Take down one of the tournament favourites. It's the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia 3, Brazil 2. The lads in the canary yellow shirts can only shake their heads and wonder what went wrong, but the Green Falcons on home turf take the 3 points.
It's a funny old game, isn't it, Harry? It's a brilliant thing when home field advantage comes to the fore. And they went down to 10 men. They did it the hard way, but for Saudi Arabia, would you want it any other way that ends in a victory against Brazil?
Wow. That is going to upset the pecking order, I think, in Group A. I mean, it's only fair we go and hear from the triumphant men on the stage. Milos is with them now.
Yes, I am. Figo is joining me. What an incredible matchup we just had between Saudi Arabia and Brazil. Figo, look, I mean, 2 wins back-to-back. You beat Brazil 3-2, and with a red card on top of it. How do you do that? أكيد ربحين فوزين ورا بعضهم، تشيلي والبرازيل. 3-2 ضد فريق هائل مثل البرازيل، وكمان اخذين بطاقة حمراء. كيف حاسين حالكم بالماتش؟ كيف قدرتوا تفوزوا ضدهم؟
أول شيء الحمد لله على الفوز، صراحة فوز مهم جدا. احنا نبحث ورا الصدارة دائما، فلما تفوز على منتخب زي البرازيل يعني مرشح للبطولة شيء يعني خرافي صراحة. وإن كيف حولنا الطرد إلى حاولنا يعني نغير في التكتيك وكذا إلى ما نسير المباراة مثل ما نبغى، والحمد لله يعني مشيناها مثل ما نبغى وجبنا الفوز، وإن شاء الله باقي البطولة تأهلوا البطولة بإذن الله.
It's a very tough game. Of course, you're playing against tournament favorites in Brazil. You have to give it your all. You never know what you get. But we did win at the end of the day. It was a lot of effort, and we had to change our tactics, really, to slow the game down, control the pace of it, and get the victory against a big team like Brazil. Hopefully, this gets us across the line in qualification. Figo, thank you very much. إسا عندك إسا ماتش واحد فاضل لفريق السعودية. شو بدك تقول للفريق الأخير اللي حتلعب ضده؟
حاب اقول لهم العبوا لعبكم يعني. احنا راح نلعب للفوز ان شاء الله، وباذن الله راح نجيب الفوز والصداره، وكل التوفيق لهم ولنا.
Well, good luck to our next opponents. We're going to bring our all. We want to take the first place in our group and see them there. That is it from Figo and Saudi Arabia with a huge victory against Brazil. Back to the studio.
Well, thanks, Milos, and that's exactly what they're doing, aren't they, at the moment? They are top of the standings in their group with 8 points now. That's Group A. They've just leapfrogged the likes of Brazil and Italy. And Italy, who they actually have next, do Saudi Arabia in their 5th and final matchup of today. As we just see Italy and Chile, lots of results coming in. Indonesia, Mexico, remember, was our featured matchup. They actually ended 3-0 in the end. What a dominating performance from Indonesia. Let's start with that as we see the highlights of all of the matches.
Yeah, Indonesia very, very steady away. Just did what they needed to do. And again, I don't want it to feel like I was calling Mexico out beforehand, but we knew that this would be their biggest test after the games they had, and there is the level that they're going to have to bring if they do want to keep going forward. Finding those wins, get themselves to the knockout, that is the kind of competition you're going to be going up against.
Yeah, I mean, I loved what I heard from Mexico in their pretty much interview. They were saying that we are here to face players as good as us and better than us. They are aware that there are nations of the caliber of Indonesia and that they need to learn and step up to face them. Haven't quite managed to do that this time, but it's a long old tournament, Rachel, and I'm sure they will improve.
Well, these are just the confirmation results in our 4th fixture out of 5 today. Group A at the top there. We just mentioned it a few moments ago. Brazil, Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia getting that victory puts them at the top of Group A standings on 8 points. Brazil and Italy in 7. Turkey 5, Chile 4, and Thailand, I think, which is Chris is pointing at 1 point.
To me, that's more of a surprise that Thailand are bottom than Saudi Arabia in top.
Really?
That is.
I mean, you predicted them at the top of the show.
Okay, well, there may be some favoritism here, in absolute fairness.
You gave them a Chris of death.
Well, yeah, no, we did say that before. I was wondering if you were going to say that live.
Of course I was.
There you are. No, but for Thailand to be bottom with 1 point, that is insane.
Group B then, going to form in your opinion. I was going to say your expert opinion, Chris, but can I say that now, what you just said about Thailand? Indonesia at the top.
That's not a surprise whatsoever. I don't think you need to be an expert to know that. 10 points for Indonesia. Kind of where we expect them to be. But other than that, the group is probably playing out how we expected over in Group B, more so. Mexico kind of in and amongst the mix, Japan stepping things up, Poland looking a really solid outfit as well. Yeah, but Indonesia pretty dominant towards the top.
For Group B, it almost looks like it's locked out of who's going through.
It does seem to be there's a clear shape here. Jordan, they had a couple of decent draws to start off with, but it does just seem as they play further and further, the standard of players they're up against is getting a bit too much to them. A little bit disappointed by Morocco. I expected them to be able to nick a draw here or there. I hope they're able to get at least a point, because last year Costa Rica only got 1, and that is what they're competing against to not be the worst team.
And in Group A, obviously we've just seen that, but just in terms of who's going through at the moment, Chile and Thailand aren't, but Chile are a little bit in closer contention with 4 points to 5 that's kind of occupied by Turkey at the moment. So a little bit closer in that one, with one final round to go today before we do rinse and repeat tomorrow for the console guys. In terms of what players need to do in this 5th and final fixtures, anything need to drastically change for any of the teams?
I mean, I want to make sure they aren't leaving anything out there. Really, it's very easy to go into the final game and think, okay, let's make no mistakes. You know, let's be safe. If you do that, you can go into tomorrow and suddenly you're really struggling. So they have to attack it.
Well, teams like Thailand can't do that anymore. They can't be playing it safe. They have to go in. They have to be able to find some wins sooner rather than later. Things are not looking great for them in the group whatsoever. As a team that we were kind of putting in one of our top tiers, right? Okay, they could have been in amongst the pack, but for them to be dead last right now is mind-blowing, to say the least.
Is it embarrassing for them to be struggling this much?
I would say so, especially considering, like, I mean, you've got a world champion on your team. How are we not winning some games?
And 2 players from the same team as well, club team, Buriram United. They do, though, maybe look at it as a positive next. They do have Chile, who are sitting just above them in their last matchup. Can we say that's a positive?
I mean, I'm very impressed that you've dug out a positive out of the amount of points that they've got so far, with the caliber they've got. That's good. So yes, they can say that's a positive, but sadly they can't even think themselves that positive because, you know, the schedule was already set.
I know, really unexpected results coming out of today. The fact that Thailand are sitting at the bottom of Group A at the moment. In terms of Group B, we just saw the featured matchup, Indonesia and Mexico, and we can look at some heart rates as well from that one. Were they cool or were they not? Oh, Chris, where are you going?
Look, right, so what I kind of wanted to point to, the numbers stay very, very similar. We say that these boys play well together. Look how in sync they are. It looks a little bit different, but they're very, very similar average heart rates here. And I wonder if it's just that, are they synced up together? I don't really know. Like, to me, it's pretty similar.
What's the mid 140 heart rate? If we're looking at that in terms of exercise, what kind of exercise
for me, walking up the stairs.
There are a lot of stairs here, guys. But I guess in terms of exercise, it's what? Moderate running?
It's a
steady pace.
Effort in there.
What are we saying? Is it in terms of 2 and 3 in the intensity level there? So yes, low intensity heart rate zone.
It's one of those steady little runs, you know. You're trying to just a casual little 10K, nothing too crazy.
Well, for Indonesia, that is the group stages. It's steady. They're just going through the motions. They're pretty cool. They're defending champions. They know exactly how to progress in this tournament, don't they? Well, one final set of fixtures to bring you, and I know you'll be excited to learn which is our featured matchup. I can tell you it's Brazil taking on Turkey, and this one's going to be interesting because Brazil will be meaning business.
Yeah, they will be frustrated after that loss to Saudi Arabia, will Brazil. So much quality. They brought in Henriquinho, and they have done that because second is not good enough for this team, Chris. They want to win this entire tournament, and they've not been playing like that just yet.
Not quite yet. I'll touch again on Brazil in a second, but for Turkey, I mean, they're kind of pushing through. They're doing okay, but we need to maybe see a little bit more. But for Brazil, one of the big storylines for me is no Guevara here. He's one of our multiple-time world champions, and that puts pressure on Henry Kino to me, because in the sense, okay, look who you are replacing. We know João Victor, we know what he's going to bring to the table. He's going to bring a high level, but Henry Kino, the pressure is going to be there. Brazil are one of the absolute favorites for this tournament. Henry Kino's a very good player, but to replace him as somebody like Guevara, that's it. I don't want to say it's a big ask, but there's big shoes to fill, to say the least.
As for Turkey as well, I mean, this is the team that won, I think it was Group A last year, so by no means are they pushovers. They went out in the semi-finals to Indonesia, the eventual winners last time around. So I think they've sort of flown under the radar a little bit because they went out in the semis and didn't make the finals, but they are an incredibly dangerous team and not the sort of team Brazil want to go up against after KSA.
Have countries realised how Brazil play? Because we heard from Saudi Arabia, we slowed it down because we knew that was how to get a victory. Are we going to see the same here from Turkey when they go up against the Brazilians?
Well, we talked about the drafts and how everyone went pretty physical. Brazil didn't necessarily lean into that too much, so I wonder if Saudi Arabia have looked at that and say, okay, well, how do we stop them playing and keep the ball off them? Because that's what they want to do. They want to play with the ball. They want to cause as much problem as they can. They want to play Joga Bonito all the time. This is what Brazil fans want. That's what the Brazilian team and players want. If you can keep the ball off them, they ain't dancing around you, right? Like, it's very easy to maybe score a counter-attack with a big cross-in or something along those lines. They are preventing them from doing that. If Turkey can do the same thing, it could be a big result.
How much does a loss for Brazil against Saudi Arabia affect them going into this?
It depends how solid the team is. I mean, they're experienced players. They've got an experienced coach behind them that was here last year with them, and they will know that this format is exhausting. You are going to have upsets. You are going to have matches that don't go your way. You know, it was a wild game against Saudi Arabia. There was the red card. There was 5 goals in it. So I think they have to put that down to one of those matches that can happen. I think it's when you lose 2 in a row, that's when the questions can come in. So this is their chance to make sure those questions never occur. If they don't take that chance, then yes, they'll get in their own heads.
Well, FIFAe poised some questions to the Brazilians ahead of the tournament. Let's get the answers to those questions now ahead of their final matchup of today.
It's the best situation. I love my country. I always watch the team football and other sports, so it's my time to represent my country. I want to show how Brazil play. Joga bonito. I feel I represent a million peoples because Brazil is stronger in every sport. When I start play video games, I want to see this moment in my career. And now I live in this. I play too much with my teammate, and we are so confident because we know how to play. He understands me, I understand him in every situation. So I know the last year is runner-up, but this year he's champion.
Welcome to round 5 of eFootball console. Coming into this round after a very exciting round 4, isn't that right?
Oh yeah, what a round 4 we had. I mean, the games, the goals, the score. I mean, we have seen it all, but we still have one more round going on right now. Saudi Arabia beat Brazil in a game that was very close to Brazil, to be honest, but that shows the mentality and how good the team of Saudi are.
I mean, the tables literally turned in Group A after that defeat for Brazil. Saudi are now top of Group A, and well, Brazil are now currently playing Turkey, who are currently 4th in Group A, and we know only 4 groups of 4 nations go through to the knockout.
Yes, we saw Turkey earlier today. They were not really playing the way they should be, but they are a really tough team to play against. Jordan, the team that played really well in the first game, but they couldn't win a single game so far. That's shocking. And now we have Saudi against Italy. Both of these teams are like 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. So this is game, I think this game will decide who will finish day 1 as number 1.
Just off the back of speaking about Jordan there, they have gone 1-0 up, capturing or scoring a really, really early goal, which is extremely important. But we do know here as well with Turkey, they are only 1 point ahead of Chile. They need this win as much as Brazil want to get a win off the back of the Saudi Arabian loss.
You are completely right here. Jordan, the good thing about this team is that they always take the lead against any team in their group. They took the lead against Indonesia. They took the lead even in the second game. Now they are taking a lead, but they cannot keep it.
We are here now going over to the Mexico-Japan game. Mexico 1-0 up against Japan. Is that a shocker for you?
Japan played also really well at the beginning, but Mexico, no. To be honest, Mexico are very, very good team. And there is no surprise for me that we see them leading against Japan, or why not win the game?
No, of course. And the Brazil-Turkey game as well. It's a big game because in 2024, Brazil were top 2, Turkey were top 4. So both teams are wanting to get to that final to win this whole thing.
Yes, this is really tough game. And it can go either way, but who is more focused and use the players in the right way? And of course, he can keep the lead when they are leading, and why not score more goals?
I mean, essentially, Brazil have only had about 5 minutes to sort of calm themselves down before they came into this game. I mean, you were a competitor as well for eFootball.
Yes.
What do you think is going through their minds right now?
Well, that's a really good question, but I think at the moment, all what they have to think about is how to score that first goal. Because when you take the lead, it's really hard to come back, especially in this game.
Well, we do see Brazil here trying to attack, but I think Turkey at the moment, they are all over Brazil, attempting a goal here. Very, very well saved. We are going to bring you over to the Poland and Indonesia game, where we do see Indonesia go 1-0 up.
Nice.
They are the champions. How do you think they've been performing so far today?
I mean, they are playing really well. They only drew 1 game, and the rest were just win after another. Now they are leading. They are playing the way they want to play. And not only that, but also they are scoring goals in a way that shows the quality of these players.
We do here have another goal for you. Japan against Mexico, equalizing, making it 1-1 in the 21st minute. What's been your favorite game so far today to watch?
Honestly, I think Saudi against Brazil, like very tense game. I mean, we were close to the streamer desk, and we were the Saudi guys streaming and screaming after every single goal. So that passion, that is the thing that we really want to see in this kind of tournaments, and that's what we're already living in.
Yeah, and that's what we were talking about as well with the Saudi Arabian fans. They are so passionate and they just love the country. But we do see here Takea on the attack. Again, very well defended by Brazil.
I think Brazil are still thinking about the previous game, which is maybe affecting them a little bit. And that's why we see Turkey is like covering almost 90% of the field and creating chances, attacking, taking the initiative every single time. But they need this goal. And now is like the best time to score this goal.
I mean, as we were saying, 5 minutes isn't much time to reset, but we are going to take you over to Saudi Arabia and Italy, where Italy did go 1-0 up. They're currently sitting 3rd in the group. Would you say they're sort of safe to make it to the knockouts at the moment?
Well, we still have plenty of games that will be played tomorrow. But at the moment, if they win against Saudi, I think they are most likely will be in the knockout stage.
Taking
is
you
that
back.
The second?
Yes, that's the Jordan goal again.
Oh, what a goal.
2-0 up. I'm very, very impressed by Jordan. As a new nation.
They always start the game very strong, you know? Like, if they just can keep that momentum, you know, and they can keep the lead that they always go for. But the thing here is that they always fail sometimes. I don't know, is it about defending? Is it about lack of chemistry between these players? But now their chance, you know? You cannot throw it away like that.
Well, at halftime, the Brazil-Turkey game is currently sitting at 0-0. A very important game for both sides, but we are going to go over to the Poland and Indonesia game. 1-0 up, currently just before halftime.
What do you think, Alia? Who do you think is like more likely to win this game?
In this game?
Yes.
I think Indonesia. I think Poland. They are currently sitting second in the group. Sorry, with 7 points. So they're not far off Indonesia. It's sort of 1 and 2 at the moment. But Indonesia do have the experience of being the champions, and experience is so important in eFootball.
You are completely right. Yeah, I think Indonesia is like more likely going to win this game unless something happens at this. No, not really.
We nearly jinxed it for ourselves, didn't we, Abdul?
Well, I always do that, to be honest.
Just about a minute left here. Very well defended again by Indonesia. I think we're going to see this one go 1-0 into halftime.
You know, it's always good to finish the first day with a win. You know, going to the second day with a win in your last game, believe me, it's a completely different situation for the players. So this game and the first game is like the most important games mentally for me.
We are now back here with the Brazil and Turkey game. Still 0-0, 53rd minute in game. I think this is either going to finish as a draw or go either way.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. But Brazil, after the first half, and we saw the total domination from Turkey, I think they are a little bit back in the game. Yes. So it is not easy, as I said, but they have to do something here. Brazil, I think the last game affected them a lot, especially in a mental way. And that's why we saw Brazil like lacking of, let's say, creating of chances. And if you can see right now, it's only half way, and they are just defending and attacking, creating chances all the time.
I mean, as we mentioned, it does take some time to get back into a positive state, especially what would be for them a disappointing loss against Saudi Arabia. But still have about 30 minutes left in game. There's plenty of time for Brazil to potentially have 3 points and top the table again.
Exactly. And that's why we need to work on the mental side a lot, especially in this kind of sports, which is esports, of course, because every player knows the tricks, knows the movements, knows the way to score and create chances, but they must also be aware and be prepared to be mentally ready.
Takea here on the attack again. A fantastic through ball. Again, well defended by Brazil so far this game. They might not be creating as much chances, but they are on it with the defending at the moment.
Yeah, I think Brazil, if they didn't lose this game, a draw could be a good point, to be honest.
Brazil here in the box. Is he going to pass it through? Great ball. Oh, well saved.
Oh, that was really nice. Going to the wing, finding the gap, and he tried to do it with the back heel.
Back over to the Japan-Mexico game, where they did go 2-1 up just before halftime here.
You know, Japan is like a team that, of course, they suffered a lot last year, where they only they lost actually in the group stage. So this year, I'm sure they do not want to be grouped. So they are trying their very best to go to the knockout stage.
Yeah, and I think they are playing better this year. I mean, they won their qualifiers, you know.
Definitely. Yeah, of course, of course.
Over here in the Chile and Thailand game, we do see Thailand here on the attack. They haven't been playing the best today, but they have finally gone 1-0 up against Chile. They are currently sitting at the bottom of Group A.
Yes.
It's going to be a very, very tough climb upwards to try and finish top 4 by the end of tomorrow to make it to knockouts. But I think it's been a similar feeling. I think we've all been a bit disappointed by their performance so far.
Yeah. You know, the good thing about Thailand is that if they manage to win this game, their hopes of going to the next round will be much higher and much better than what they have already right now. So this game is very important for Thailand. But now we see Poland and Indonesia. I think Indonesia have only 1 draw, and the rest were just winning after another, and they are like going for the first. Not only going to the knockout stage, but they won't be first of their group.
I mean, it's very important for phase 4 as well in terms of drafting players, because the nations will get to choose 2 players from the nations that get knocked out. So you want to finish top of your group to get that first pick.
Exactly, and oh, that's very nice goal. Yes, if you manage to finish first in your group, in the knockout stage, you will play against the last in the other group, which is much easier to go further in the tournament.
Takea here on the attack again. Can they finally break the deadlock? 70 minutes in game at the moment. Defended again.
Yeah, Brazil, they are just trying to defend in this game all the time. And if they get a chance from a counter-attack to score a goal and that's it, then they will just close it off. But yeah, I think Turkey, I mean, playing much better, creating more chances, but they need that goal, because in football, if you do not score goals, you will definitely concede.
I mean, 3 points is so important for them here, as they are currently sitting 4th in their group. But wouldn't surprise me if this game finishes 0-0, which will be very disappointing for Brazil, because when you just lose a game, you want to come back with a strong win.
Of course, and it's better to come back in this game, because Turkey are going also for the knockout stage if you do not beat them, you know? So if we can go so quickly to the scores at the moment, Italy are winning against Saudi, and Brazil, as we see, against Turkey is 0-0. Thailand are winning against Chile. Jordan winning 3-0 against Morocco. It seems that they learn how to keep the lead. Not only that, but also to score more goals.
I do love an underdog story, and Jordan, with them being the new nation as well, I feel like they have a good chance to make it to the knockouts.
Oh, definitely. Definitely. They are playing really well. You know, you just draw against the first, which is Indonesia, you can go all the way. Just believe in yourself.
Brazil here on the attack. Can they finally convert it to a goal?
Yeah, it is not easy. I mean, Turkey playing really well. Turkey are like really good in defense, and they reach the final box of their opponents a lot also, but you need to score goals.
I think what's worth mentioning as well with Brazil, in 2025, they hadn't lost a game before Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia handed them their first loss of the 2025 season.
Oh, yes. Oh, that's a very good point. And as we can see at the moment, I think Italy scored the second goal against Saudi.
Just 2 in-game minutes here left for our feature match. Still sitting at 0-0. Will we see a last-minute winner?
Yeah, there's one more chance, or maybe not. Yeah, fair enough. I think it's fair result, or we still have one more chance. Game, always at the second game, you more likely are going to lose it, but in their case, yes. I mean, 4 goals against 2.
Si wifi lemot emang ganggu banget. Lihat tutorial masak malah kesendat. Lagi asyik push rank, koneksi malah bikin otak ngeheng. Jualan live banyak yang kami, tapi nggak.
Counter-attack. Will we see a third goal from them?
Oh, that's really nice. But different.
Number 9, Mbappe.
So Thailand, I believe, they won the game against Chile.
1-0.
Yes, Thailand, the last in their group. Now they have 4 points, which is, it gives them, let's say, a lot of encourage to come.
Six added minutes has been indicated.
Nice state for tomorrow.
Is there any team that you really fear from all the other squads you faced off against so far? 8 points now for the Mexican squad.
Really.
You've played against everybody. So what do you have to say to all the others? Because now you're tied up 8 points with Japan, as we had just now.
I'm very satisfied about our performance. I think we had great comebacks, great results and reactions to the match. And I think we are in a really, really nice state for tomorrow.
Is there any team that you really fear from all of the other squads you faced off against so far?
No, not really.
So what do you have to say to all the others? Because now you're tied up 8 points with Japan, as we had just now. Anything you'd like to say to the rest of your group?
Not really. I think it's a very tough group, and it's going to be decided until the last match. I think the level is too high, and anything can happen.
This is exactly why we play all this, why we're here for the best teams in the world to compete. Thank you very much, Arsenal style. Mexico continues to play tomorrow. However, we have to send it back to our studio to recap things.
Thank you so much. Yes, we are concluded for today. As Milos says, we get to do it all again tomorrow. 5 more matches on the road to one of these nations picking up that trophy on Saturday. 3 more days of action still to come your way in terms of the console
really nice
side of things, but it is wrapped up with these highlights. Looking at today, placings with the teams in the groups to progress through to the knockouts as we just can conclude the final results from today for the console players. We just heard from the Saudi Arabia team. We had a great couple of wins. Obviously, they had a loss there to Italy. Brazil, stalemate between Turkey, Thailand. Can I shout and scream? They got their first win of the day over Chile, who are sitting just above them in the table. So they'll now both be on 4 points. Then we go to Group B. Jordan, what a big victory for them over Morocco. Mexico, Japan 2-2, and then Indonesia, well, they're just continuing that momentum they showed from last year, 3-1 over Poland there. Thailand, though, guys, we have to say take a bow.
We would give that one to Chris, will we? With Thailand getting one. Yeah, no, that's good for them, but they need to make sure they do crack on tomorrow. That was so crucial, though, that they got a hold of that. If they hadn't, they're really in a really tough spot. But 5 games again tomorrow for them. They could still go on and finish in the top 4 in this group, no problem.
Well, I heard Abdul, he was saying this is a really kind of crucial match to get a good result. So for Thailand to get their first victory, as they did at the end of the day, you know, how much can that help them for tomorrow, Cole?
It definitely means that when you're going home, you're not feeling quite as depressed, because if they'd have gone home off the back of losing that one, they would have felt awful. Getting that win at least will mean that they can build upon something. They actually do have a positive to take. You were saying, you know, is the positive the fact that they've got a match they can win? You were right. They could have won it. They did win it, and now they have a chance to re-go.
Indonesia then 13 points. I mean, they can have a pretty quiet day tomorrow and still probably go through.
Yeah, no, they I think they can relax at this stage. I think it's been a really good day. A little bit of a slower start, but got into the stride of things. I think for me, this is the group that we were kind of expecting. It. This is probably the way it was going to play out. Japan there, Mexico there. I think Mexico may be a slight surprise to see how well they have done. Not that they're in the top 4, but to see them really hanging in around that top area of that group table is nice to see.
And Jordan still have a real chance, possibly on 5 points.
Yeah, with that win at the end of the day there, that's their first win. They've got a couple of big draws in the run-up to that. And yeah, 1 win jumps you straight into that top 4. If Jordan can beat Poland, then suddenly things are not simple for Poland. Poland, who have looked good at times, but 7 points puts you mid-table, and you've got Jordan breathing down your neck. It's not comfortable for them.
Well, a lot of matches have been concluded then. That is it for console side of things on day 1 here of the FIFA World Cup. Loads to pick apart from that one. And we also want to talk to you about some of the players. We're talking about nations, aren't we? But actually, the players are pivotal for the nations. 2v2 is obviously the console. When we turn our attention to mobile, a bit later, it's 1v1. So we're going to bring you the Axe Player of the Day. Some of our team have cast their vote over who they think should be, these are nominations, who they think should win it. So these are the 4 you guys at home can vote for over on FIFA.gg. Cole, why have you picked 2 individuals here? I believe it's Iniesta?
Yeah, go Iniesta for me for Saudi Arabia and Henriquinho for Brazil. I think that for Saudi Arabia, they have had such a good day. Second in their group, which is beyond expectations, getting massive victories, and go Iniesta. has been at the heart of that. And then for Brazil, Henriquinho, he's come in this year. Brazil, they're doing not quite as brilliantly as we expected, but I just love the fact that they play a different style of eFootball. Every other team is focusing on one type of play. They're focusing on style and skill, and it's very Brazilian, it's very them, and he's come in and had the confidence to do that.
And for you, Shanks, and the Arsenal style, Chris?
Yeah, I think when you think of those other two teams, or you specifically when you think of Indonesia, a lot of people say, like, oh, they're talking about big old boys, but Elga needs a little bit of love as well. I've really been loving how to see he's been playing specifically on the Mexican side of things as well for Arsenal. We've loved watching them play. They played, scored some cracking goals today as well, and he was a big part of that as well.
Who would you pick out those for? If you could vote, because you can vote.
So I think for me it was kind of going to go potentially towards Iniesta, sorry, just purely because of that game up against Brazil. He was brilliant.
The home pressure.
Exactly.
It must be pretty intense, mustn't it, for Iniesta? And they are sitting second in the table, as Cole said. Okay, well, I think you've heard quite a lot from the three of us. We haven't heard much from our reporter, CJ. So I am delighted to say we're going to hear from him now. CJ, where are you?
Well, that's it for day one of the FIFA World Cup 2025 console edition, and it was absolute chaos. We saw some upsets left, right, and centre. Saudi Arabia taking down Brazil. Some other teams that I was expecting to go a little bit better that are underperforming. So I'm looking forward to tuning in, being here day two, to see if those teams bounce back or if teams like Saudi Arabia can keep surprising everyone.
There he is. Love to hear from CJ. I want to get him out and about a bit more, roaming around.
I've not seen him
on the
do
studio
anything.
floor. I know.
Honestly, what's he even here for?
He's been at lunch the last 4 hours. It's unbelievable.
He's got so much energy, and I think, if he was just bopping around the set and maybe trying to speak to people, they'd be like, who is this guy?
I mean, he's only had a 6-hour flight from Copenhagen where we were. He can't believe his luck. It's normally about 18 hours deep by the time he gets to a place. So yeah, he's still ready to go. Right,
final thoughts from today, from what we've seen, some nations that have impressed you, nations that maybe haven't so much.
I think the big surprise for me over the whole thing is Thailand. I really was expecting a little bit more. We had that whole conversation last year about this player coming through, the current world champion on their roster. We're going to get to see him next year, and they haven't performed yet. And we had higher expectations. I kind of had them in and around fighting that top four. Right now, they might not have made it out of the groups. We need to see more from them tomorrow.
Yeah, Jin Sui, he's going to have a big talking to tonight, I'm sure. Inwardly to himself, I'm sure, because he expects more.
He's so young as well, 16 years old, young enough that, as you mentioned at the top of the show, he wasn't able to compete in this despite helping them qualify last year. That's an enormous amount of pressure. So we're going to learn a lot about how he's able to deal with that at his young age. We know that he can deal with the pressure when he's winning. When he's losing, it's a very different type of pressure, especially when you have the weight of your own home country not weighing you down, but certainly there in the back of your mind. I'd say for me that the big story today is probably Saudi Arabia as well. They didn't make it out the groups last year. They were one win away, and they've proven with some huge victories, particularly that one against Brazil, holding out with a man down as well, that they're capable of getting wins. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing them tomorrow continue.
Yeah, their second table toppers from today are Italy and Indonesia in their respective groups. But it's only 5 matches played. We've got 5 more still to come tomorrow. So let's have a look at tomorrow's schedule for you in terms of eFootball console. Tomorrow's matches then, we start with the ones that we've been talking quite a lot about, the maybe underperformers from day one. Thailand, they take on table toppers of Group A, Italy. Then we see Brazil, Italy, Japan, Indonesia, Mexico, Indonesia, and then rounding out the schedule, Turkey and Brazil. Fiery 5 matchups.
Yeah, we'll be keeping an eye on how some of these games and the permutations as well as we get later in the day. We may well focus on a couple of different ones, to be honest with you as well. But yeah, no, I think that first game is really important. Thailand going up against Italy. Let's see what you can do. Can you turn that one around? That's the one I'm really looking at to kick off things tomorrow.
Yeah, because that's how it started today.
Yeah.
In Thailand, they got a 1-0 loss, a game that probably could have been 0-0 as well, to be honest. It was really nervy, and you think if Thailand got that win, they're feeling comfortable, suddenly it's a very different day. So it's literally a second chance for Thailand in particular, but for the rest of these teams to keep on growing.
Exactly. Well, that's tomorrow's schedule. A bit later, we start our matches at midday, lunchtime, 12 o'clock for you guys, if you're coming back to join us. But thank you so much for joining us here on day one of the FIFA World Cup 2025. eFootball console is what you've just been watching. I want to say thank you very much to Cole and to Chris and to our entire team who have helped us put this great show on. But for now, we're going to say goodbye, but only for a short while, because we get to do it all again in about an hour and a half. We start eFootball Mobile. So come back and join us for that.
How can real-time visibility across our hydrocarbon supply chain
help keep our shelves stocked?
How can achieving a 99.8% delivery record
help bring us together?